My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering.
As you all can see, I have sort of distanced this camera a little bit, as I'm going to have just a little more to show today, and I just want to talk about a little project that I'll be making for myself. It comes out of the book of Ezekiel in the Bible, and that is one of my favorite books, as it kind of has all the interesting, cool stories in it that I love. And oh, I tell you, I've even watched a little cartoon based on it. But I'd say that while I'm recording, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to add certain effects to the sound and picture of the video, but by the time this video is uploaded, you will see whether or not I did. So that's something I'm contemplating right now, but wanted to kind of show you all a little idea of a little project I've made out of that, and wanted to have you all to see how that it's like there was a certain creature. There were 4 creatures that came out of the sky in the book of Ezekiel out of a cloud, and they had an interesting shape, and I have taken my scraps of wood and made little interesting shapes out of the scraps and carved little things out of them that are kind of the nature of what it was. I just kind of found special ways to do it, but I did a couple of lions here. I did one out of walnut, one out of cherry. And one thing I'll say about it is that the little creatures, they kind of had a face of a man in the front, a face of an eagle in the back, a face of a lion on the right, and a face of an ox on the left. I don't know how left and rights are showing up in this video or how it's going to be, but from the angle that the camera is and from where I'm sitting, I kind of did my right and my left. So, of course, we're probably also going to have to kind of reverse them to whatever the right and left is going to be for an actual creature or person when it comes down to it, because sometimes, you know, it's like, what is, if you and another person are like face to face, I mean, your right is their left and your left is their right. So I wanted to also show you all a little thing or two I did. I kind of got a couple little scraps in with these. I kind of made them shaped like the heads of eagles. I already started carving a little one out of cherry and got kind of the basics done to one out of walnut, but I think I might kind of try to carve along a little as I tell you all a little bit more about the story. And I mean, it's always cool to me how that the book of Ezekiel kind of has common things with the book of Revelation, because in the book of Revelation, which is a Bible prophecy as well, that's kind of where you come to see all the other little creatures that are different, and like these creatures that Ezekiel saw with these 4 creature faces in them were all like as wings with a wheel in the wheel. Of course, the creatures that John saw in Revelation, they were the same creatures, except they were like each of their own creature, one a man, one an ox, one an eagle, and one a lion, and they were just kind of, I'd say, the way they were when it came to those types of creatures. And I'd say that even though the Bible might say that the wheel within a wheel that Ezekiel saw was kind of like covered with eyes all around, and the creatures that John saw in the Revelation that were like an ox and a lion and an eagle and a man, they all had 6 wings, and they were covered with eyes all over themselves in the front and in the back. I had even kind of, back in my recording days, did a little song called John's Visions that was based on that, and kind of like just what we saw in a little thing we would read or hear. And I tell you all that these stories, I mean, they were so special to me. And you know, it's kind of like how in the Bible, you know, there's books like Ezekiel and Daniel that have a lot in common with the Revelation. And I'd say, anyway, if it does come down to me using the effects I'm thinking about using to this video, I will tell you that I do think it kind of has resemblance to outer space and UFOs, which is kind of a lot of things to the nature of a lot of what Ezekiel saw. And that's why a lot of people think he saw a UFO, because he kind of saw some really wild visions, and some of the things he saw were of something that could be of a quite similar nature. I've seen paintings and drawings of what different people's interpretations of the creatures probably looked like to them. So I might kind of tell you a little more as I carve along this. Might have to go up and take care of my laundry in a little bit, because it's probably almost finished washing and about ready to go to the dryer. Might even just take a little break here to go take care of that right now, maybe. Well, as I was going to continue on to say, it's kind of like how that there are a lot of these prophets like Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, which they say these days if they were alive today, a lot of churches wouldn't want them in their pulpits, which could very well be the thing, because they kind of did preach a lot differently. They preached the way they were called back then, and times have just kind of changed where sermons are not fire and brimstone anymore. But we'll kind of come along to show you all a little bit extra as far as how I do with the scraps. I've got a little cherry scrap and a walnut scrap that, given their shapes, I can kind of carve the face of an ox into them and use little flora wires to put little horns up here to come out of their heads. And that'll be something I'll hope to demonstrate soon how I will do. And then I've kind of got a little walnut and cherry of a part that is similar to the same shape of scrap that the lion's head was made out of, but it's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to kind of turn it the other way and try to make it a face of a man, just like this, which were kind of like among the creatures that were in that shape. And I say that there's going to be a little bit demonstrate as we carve along, going over some of the next fewer steps, I say. And you know, whenever I talked before about what kind of effects I'd add to this video, I thought I'd do it to make it a little more interesting, because I could tell you all a little bit about this conversation I had with this man in the pool at the Y last night, but won't really get into it because, you know, we did get a little bit religious and political here and there, and I don't mind talking to you face to face about it if any of you all wants to do it. But, you know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, we kind of got to be cautious. I try not to talk too forceful about anything. Try to let each person be entitled to their own beliefs. So I say that this is going to be one thing that we sort of do here, just to kind of draw a little interest to our work. There's no telling what's going to be coming up next with what we make or have or do, but this is just kind of what it is for now. And sometimes all this chipping away, it can kind of be a little good exercise for you now and then. But believe I'm getting to the point where I've just about talked enough, about ready to come this to an end, and hopefully I will see you all soon in the next video or whenever you come back on. Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.